What's good, Beam Team? Your boy's back with some absolutely insane news that's about to shake the entire Sacramento Kings organization to its core. I'm talking about moves that could completely change the trajectory of this franchise, and trust me, you're not ready for what's coming. We've got 3 bombshell stories that are all connected in ways that will blow your mind. First, we're talking about a rising star who could be the hidden gem everyone's sleeping on. A 6'4" point guard from down under who's been putting up ridiculous shooting numbers and could be the steal of the draft. But that's just the beginning. Then we've got a veteran fan favorite who's been bleeding purple for 4 years, and his future in Sacramento is hanging by a thread. This guy has been more loyal to the Kings than most players are to their own families. But will the front office show him the same love back? And finally, oh my God, Beam Team, we're talking about 2 all-star point guards who could potentially fill that massive void left behind. One of them is apparently the preferred target, and when you hear who it is, you'll understand why this could be the move that changes everything. Smash that like button if you're ready for this roller coaster. Drop a comment with your predictions, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that notification bell because the Beam Team needs to stick together. But before we dive deep, let me ask you this. Are you ready to find out which one of these moves could turn the Kings from pretenders into contenders? Let's start with the international prospect, who's got scouts drooling. Here we go, Beam Team. The first piece of this puzzle involves none other than Tyrese Proctor, the 6'4" Australian point guard from Duke, who just worked out for our Sacramento Kings. And let me tell you something. This kid is not your average second-round prospect. This young man has been on an absolute tear, improving his shooting from a pedestrian 32% from 3 as a freshman to an elite 40% as a junior. We're talking about a player who went from 9.4 points per game to 12.4 points per game while shooting 45% from the field overall. That's the kind of development curve that separates future NBA players from college bench warmers. At 6'4" with a 6'7" wingspan and a 36.5 vertical leap, Proctor has all the physical tools to be a problem in this league. The scouts are comparing him to Dante Exum, but here's the difference. This kid is coming in with lower expectations, which means he can exceed them and shock the world. Sure, he might not be the explosive athlete that some other prospects are, but you know what he has? Basketball IQ, court vision, decision-making skills, and most importantly, that Australian toughness that translates beautifully to the NBA grind. The Kings currently hold the 42nd pick in the draft, and if Tyrese Proctor is still available when Sacramento is on the clock, this could be the steal of the century. We're talking about potentially landing a starting caliber point guard in the 2nd round. But here's where it gets interesting. Beam Team. While we're looking at the future, there's drama brewing with one of our current veterans. Beam Team, hold on to your seats, because we're diving into some serious emotional territory with one of the most beloved players in recent Kings history. We're talking about Trey Lyles, the man who has called Sacramento his true home in the NBA. This isn't just another contract negotiation story. This is about loyalty, heart, and what it means to bleed purple and black. Lyles has played more games in a Kings uniform, 225 games, than for any other team in his 10-year career. This man has given his soul to this organization, but here's the heartbreaking reality. At $8 million, Trey Lyles might be priced out of his own home. After averaging 6.9 points and 4.5 rebounds on solid shooting splits over the past 2 seasons, the front office is in a tough spot. Do they pay their loyal soldier, or do they make the cold business decision? Scott Perry, our new GM, has some huge decisions to make. Lyles has been the definition of consistency, providing valuable minutes as our backup power forward, giving us spacing with his 3-point shooting, and even sliding down to play the 5 in small ball lineups when needed. The man is 29 years old and has found his identity in Sacramento. He's mentioned repeatedly that this feels like home, not just another stop in his career, but his actual basketball home. How do you put a price on that kind of loyalty and chemistry? If they can bring him back on a team-friendly deal, maybe something like 2 years, $11.5 million with a partially guaranteed 2nd year, it could be a win-win situation. But if he walks, we're losing more than just a player. We're losing a piece of the Kings' soul. But Beam Team, while we're worried about keeping our veterans happy, the front office has their eyes on a much bigger prize. Beam Team. This is it. The moment we've all been waiting for. The Sacramento Kings are making serious moves to land not one, but two all-star point guards, and one of them is emerging as the clear favorite. We're talking about Darius Garland and Trey Young, two of the most dynamic point guards in the entire NBA. But here's the kicker. Sacramento is prioritizing Darius Garland as their #1 target. Let's talk about what Garland brings to the table. 20.6 points, 6.7 assists, shooting 45.3% from the field and 40.1% from three. This is a 25-year-old stud who was instrumental in helping Cleveland win 64 games and secure the top seed in the Eastern Conference. Yes, he's coming off toe surgery and will be out 4 to 5 months, but for a Kings team that's not in win-now mode, that timeline actually works perfectly. By the time the season starts, Garland should be healthy and ready to lead this franchise into a new era. The contract situation is manageable too. 3 years remaining with $39.4 million next season, and $42.2 million and $44.9 million. For a player of his caliber and age, that's actually reasonable in today's NBA market. Think about it, Beam Team. We're talking about replacing De'Aaron Fox's production with a younger, more complete point guard who can both score and facilitate at an elite level. Darius Garland isn't just a good player, he's a franchise-changing talent. Hit that like button if you want to see Garland in a Kings uniform. Comment below with #Garland2Sac if you're ready for this move. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now because we're about to witness history. This could be the move that finally transforms the Sacramento Kings from a rebuilding team into legitimate playoff contenders. After years of mediocrity, we might be looking at our future all-star point guard. Beam Team, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about the possibilities. Are you ready to watch Darius Garland light up the Golden One Center in purple and black?